I, 26 male, have been with my girlfriend, 27, for over 3 years. We've been living together for 2 years of that time. Not long after, she left her job. This was before Global Issue, so it had nothing to do with that. She just couldn't deal with her boss anymore. I supported her leaving the job because her boss really was mistreating her. I do okay financially, but I'm not making a ton of money in my career yet. But I thought she'd hit the pavement right away and start looking for something else. Well, that didn't happen. For the first few days, she just hung around the apartment. After those few days, I asked her if she was going to start looking for something else. She answered, "Really? I just quit my job. Can you just give me a week or two to catch my breath?" After that, whenever I asked, she began to cite anxiety and depression as the reason she couldn't look for or take a job. While I've tried to be supportive and understanding, it's been hard as we've lived paycheck to paycheck. I've often felt anxious and depressed myself, but have had no choice but to go to work. Once Global Issue hit, she tried to get relief but was denied because she'd already been out of work too long, and her unemployment had nothing to do with the global situation. She then began to use it as an excuse for why she couldn't work. This brings us to a few days ago. I went to do some grocery shopping and my girlfriend asked me to pick up a case of Diet Dr. Pepper for her. She's addicted to the stuff. To her credit, she doesn't drink or smoke or eat much junk food at all. Diet Dr. Pepper is basically her only vice, but she'll easily drink 6 or 7 cans of it in a day. Anyway, I refused to buy it for her. I told her on the way out the door, "Nope, that's a luxury item. I'm not paying for that." Long story short, when I got home without the Diet Dr. Pepper, we got into a huge argument. She accused me of financially controlling her. I told her that I would only provide for her fundamental needs from now on, but that if she wanted any treats beyond that, she'd need to get a job and pay for them herself. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She's taking advantage of you. She's probably hoping you'll take care of her and maybe your kids forever. You do not want to be in a relationship with a lazy person. If she's actually depressed, then she needs professional help. If she'd been unemployed only a few weeks, or she'd been earnestly looking, withholding treats just because you're temporarily paying the bills would be cruel. But as things stand, nope, it sounds like she's just mooching. LOL, financially controlling her is such garbage. Job searching sucks, but it sounds like she's done absolutely nothing to try. She needs to get a job and stop mooching if she wants to be financially independent. Are you paying all the bills too? Hey, I'd kick her out and let her live in the real world. Not the idiot. You're doing more than enough by providing for her needs. You're living paycheck to paycheck, and that means cutting unnecessary spending. She can cite anxiety and depression all she wants, but she needs to stop using them as a crutch if she wants to overcome them. Everyone's the idiot here. She stinks for not contributing financially. You're the idiot for being petty instead of dealing with the more significant problem directly. You're choosing a case of Diet Dr. Pepper as the hill to die on instead of having a serious conversation, years ago, about what you're willing to pay for and for how long. Surely you're joking, right? How was OP being petty exactly? It's his money. I know he can't freeze her out entirely, but in the end it's his money. And even if he was being petty, he has the right to be. Maybe he wouldn't feel the need to be petty if his girlfriend would stop gaslighting and emotionally blackmailing him with this financially controlling rubbish. OP is not the idiot. I'm 26 female, and ever since I met my sister-in-law, 44, 8 years ago, she has done everything in her power to be my decision maker. She treats me as if I'm incapable of doing anything independently without her guidance, which is just her telling me what I am and what I am not doing because she knows best. I went no contact for 2 years because I couldn't handle her anymore. My husband and I moved an hour away and started over without her influence. We didn't want her knowing where we lived. We changed our numbers, everything. Well, as luck would have it, she just got a job at my company after not working at all her entire life. She had 0 qualifications, but she used me as a reference. My mother-in-law told her where I worked, so they gave her the position. Within 2 weeks of being there, I quit. At first, it started small where she would just corner me and not shut up so I could do my job, so my efficiency was dropping. After a few days, though, it turned into her once again trying to control my life, speaking to management on my behalf, trying to get me into a position I don't want because it's a pay raise and I should be thankful that I have her doing these things for me. Management hangs off her every word. The tip of the iceberg was last Wednesday. There was a meeting we had to attend, and she, in front of 40 plus people, announced that my mental health is declining and she was glad she was back in my life to pick up the pieces. This was brought up due to my dropping efficiency, which was questioned by management. So she made it into a mental health issue versus the real problem, which is that she never leaves me alone. I argued it and told her I was perfectly fine and that she just needs to leave me alone so I can work. All that did was cause her to go into her manipulative woe is me crap in front of my boss, who later confronted me on a hostile work environment, claiming that my sister-in-law just cares about my well-being. So I quit. I told him that since he couldn't stop involving me in her nonsense, I was done. Yesterday, my in-laws had a barbecue with the entire family. Sister-in-law was supposed to work and not be there. Turns out she calls out, so she shows up. She starts cornering me about why I quit when we were all sat down at the table. She wouldn't drop it and continued to push. Finally, I snapped and said, "You're the reason I quit my job because you once again tried to control my life and made out to the entire leadership team that I was mentally ill and wasn't capable of doing anything without you. I went no contact for a reason, yet here you are destroying my life once again. The family is mixed." Some of them ran to her side since she was now crying and doing her pity me act, and I was just trying to help nonsense, and now they think I'm crazy. The other half have seen her patterns and stand with me, but now I feel like an idiot for my blow up because she makes me feel like I'm wrong defending myself. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. OP, but your sister-in-law is a narcissistic and manipulative idiot. She's projecting her insecurities onto you and trying to act like she's helping you to make herself feel like she has a purpose. This is enough to drive someone crazy, to be honest. Oh, and why is your boss taking advice from a lady he just hired less than a month ago? Seemed like she's got everyone wrapped around her fingers. I would have told my boss flat out that this person does not speak for you and lied on her resume to get in, that you would never have recommended her. Can you get a restraining order? This is madness. I would want to make sure any future boss knows what she's like and not to let her anywhere near you. Not the idiot. Your sister-in-law is either one of the most oblivious people on the planet or she knows exactly what she's doing. My money is on the latter. She sounds downright poisonous as a person. To call out your mental health in a meeting after only being employed there 2 weeks, I'm shocked you didn't let loose on her then. That is insane. I don't blame you for going no contact and for chewing her out in front of the family. Yeah, you could have probably handled this all a little better, but after what she's put you through, I don't blame you for your reaction at all. Not the idiot. It's time to go no contact again with sister-in-law and put mother-in-law on an information diet. Do not tell her where you work, etc., since she clearly has no issues with sister-in-law meddling in your life. I would try for a restraining order against your sister-in-law and have your SO deal with the family from now on. This includes defending you and handling blowback from this situation and future situations. It seems like sister-in-law will not stop meddling. I'm seriously sorry for what you're going through. Sounds like a complete nightmare. My maid of honour and I have been best friends for around 6 years. She got into a relationship with her boyfriend about 3 years ago. He doesn't like me because every time they argue, she comes to me and stays with my fiancé and me. Around 3 years ago, I had a party for my birthday. My best friend had just gotten with her boyfriend 10 days previous and insisted that I invited him. I told her that she could bring him. When they came, they both sat in the corner for the entire night and didn't speak to anyone else, didn't dance, and didn't even wish me a happy birthday. 2 years ago, my best friend found out she was pregnant and he didn't want anything to do with it. He told her he was leaving if she carried on with the pregnancy, so I stepped up and helped her. I went to every doctor's appointment, paid for all her pregnancy vitamins, and bought her new clothes to fit her changing body. Through the stress of everything with her boyfriend, she lost the baby and she had to be rushed to hospital. I was by her side through everything, stayed at the hospital with her and bought everything she needed. When she woke from surgery, she thanked me for everything I'd done, and her boyfriend got angry. He said that I didn't do anything for her and that I was a crap friend. I let it go because I thought he was just angry and upset about everything that had happened. But even now, he still tries to stop her from seeing me, and whenever she is with me, he is constantly messaging her, so we can't spend any time together, just us. We have spoken about his dislike for me, and she said that she wished things were different, but he is stuck in his opinion of me and there's nothing I can do to change it. I've expressed to my maid of honor that I don't want her boyfriend at my wedding because I feel like something would happen to ruin my day, especially after seeing how they reacted on my birthday. Why would I want someone who doesn't like me to be there on my most memorable day? She doesn't understand why I don't want him there and has told me she's not coming to my wedding unless he's invited. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. And I don't understand how some people can look past how their significant others treat other people. Why would anyone want to be with someone who treats anyone, let alone someone they love, the way he treats you? Don't invite him. You shouldn't have to worry about being disrespected on any day, let alone one that's meant to be celebrating your happiness. If she doesn't want to come, that's fine, but she needs to let you know now so you can choose another maid of honor. Honestly, I'd just go ahead and start finding a backup in case she pulls some kind of stunt closer to the day to get you to cave. If she didn't learn after the appalling way he treated her when pregnant, she's not going to learn when he treats OP like garbage. She is in too deep to see the woods for the trees. I feel sorry for her, but OP can't help her until she realizes that she's in a toxic relationship and wants to get out. This 100%. You didn't mention her family or other friends. Are you all she has? I know my family would chime in if I had a relationship that tainted my best friendship. The hardest part of this for you, honestly, is she's already made her choice and you need to face it. She's chosen to stay with him even with his cowardly, manipulative, disgusting and disrespectful behavior. You inviting him to the wedding will potentially ruin your wedding, and it will only delay the inevitable. She's already chosen. Save your wedding and yourself. May your marriage be a happy one. Your best friend has always let him malign you and just shrugged her shoulders even after all your support. Now she's choosing her boyfriend over you by not respecting your boundaries and demanding that someone who actively hates you has to be invited to your wedding. OP, my opinion might be harsh, but here it is. You do not have a best friend's boyfriend problem. You have a best friend problem. My wife, 27, and I, 28 male, have been together for 5 years and have been married for 3 of them. I would say we always had a good relationship, but we had our deal breakers. My wife's deal breakers were to stop smoking and go to the gym, and mine was to have children. Smoking was a bad phase, but I was a college student. Most of us do it, and since I was not a hard-time smoker, I could let go of that quickly. As for the exercise, I was on the track club in university and have worked out my upper body and have a much better overall physique. Honestly, my deal breaker was that I wanted kids. I'm not particularly picky. I would love my own kids, but I'm more than happy to adopt if my partner could not get pregnant. My wife really sold me on the idea she wanted to be pregnant. Before our marriage, we were talking about raising our own family. Even after the marriage, we were thinking so. We recently got pregnant and I was really excited. After all, my lifelong dream was coming true. My wife completely blindsided me and told me she wasn't ready to have kids. I was heartbroken, to say the least. This wasn't unexpected. This was years of planning. She told me she doesn't want to get pregnant because of what it would do to her body and career. She told me if I loved her, I would stay with her and support her. She is gaslighting me, clearly. Even a fool can see that, but there is some truth behind it. I definitely don't want to pressure her into having the child because that would be an epic failure, especially for the child. But I was in love with the person she led me to believe. Now I'm planning on breaking the news to her the day after the termination, so I know my decision did not affect her choice. I don't know if I'm in the wrong or right here. She is pretty clear she doesn't want children, and I'm not getting any younger. I think it's best to find partners who will appreciate us for who we are. It's a horrible situation for you both to be in. She may well have been all for having kids but then changed her mind. It happens. It's just such a shame she's gotten pregnant, but honestly, if she doesn't want to or isn't ready to be a mother, then having that child would be irresponsible at best, cruel and dangerous at worst. If being a father is something you want, then the kindest and most sensible thing for both of you is to separate and move your lives forward. As a woman who once wanted children but now firmly doesn't, the reality of getting pregnant may have made her realize that actually she doesn't want children and that path in life is not for her. It doesn't automatically mean she was intentionally gaslighting or lying to you. People can change their mind. I appreciate this must be a devastating blow, but it's better she realizes this now than after a child is born. However, it sounds like you need to establish if she means she doesn't want children at all or doesn't want them right now, as this uncertainty isn't fair on you. If she has realised she doesn't want children at all, the marriage needs to end because there's really no compromise when it comes to creating another human being. Her saying that if you loved her, you would stay with her is manipulative and unfair. As much as she is entitled to not want children, you are entitled to find a partner who does. Stand strong and leave when she is recovered from the termination. A lot of people think they want kids until they actually get pregnant. This is not uncommon. She likely was not lying to you but came to this realization because she got pregnant. Honestly, this story makes it seem as if you're detached and cold towards her now. End the marriage if you want, but you need to have a conversation like an adult about how you're feeling. And if you leave her right after the termination, you're a grade A idiot. My 23 male girlfriend, 24, we'll call her Grace, went on a 4-day vacation to Chicago with her best friend, we'll call her Jessie, after not seeing each other for the entirety of the coronavirus. It seemed like an enjoyable trip and a needed one for her after working hard as an in-person teacher throughout the global issue. The trip seems to start off well from Grace's sporadic updates, and it looks fun, getting photos, updates, the whole shebang. However, on the second day in, I don't get any texts. I'm guessing they're having a great time and think nothing of it. I see a story on Instagram from Grace that Grace and Jessie are around dinner time with them at a bar drinking. Seems fun too. However, I get no updates. After around 3 to 4 a.m. passes, right before I sleep, I send a message hoping they had a good night and to text me when they get back and can. I wake up with no texts the following day and don't receive anything until around noon. When we FaceTime, she casually brings up that the two of them had hooked up the night before drunkenly. It turns out, after drinking and dancing a bit together, they got the idea to start making out. One thing leads to another, and I was told they slept together. She said it so normally that it didn't click for a second, but after I put 2 and 2 together, it sounds like they really went to town on each other. I get defensive and say, "That's cheating. You cheated on me." The responses I got back were disheartening. "Oh, we're best friends and bye, a little expected. We were drunk and in the moment, and it didn't mean anything. Jessie is in a more open relationship, I think, so she was okay with it. It's a one and done thing. We were just curious and exploring ourselves." I had my rebuttals, but it genuinely felt like she cheated on me. I was even told they stopped midway because they were starting having doubts about how I and Jessie's fiancé would react, even going as far as saying they should keep it a secret. Grace did end up apologising profusely, saying she understands it was a mistake, a big one, and feels terrible for making me feel bad, also for, cheating. I feel betrayed. I'm picturing what I do with Grace, but now only seeing Jessie in my place, and feel very hurt by this. Both Grace and Jessie see it as a one-and-done thing, as innocent as if they were only to kiss once in front of me. I'm baffled about how to react to this situation since their reaction is different from mine. As far as I know, this is the only time this happened. Being bi doesn't change the fact that she cheated. A one-and-done also doesn't change the fact that she cheated. How would she respond if you slept with another chick because you wanted to explore yourself a little bit? She cheated. Drop her. I'm not quite sure why she would think that it'd be okay with you as long as it was only a one-and-done type of thing. I think she knows exactly what she did and she anticipated what your reaction would be. There was a significant change in behaviour before you guys talked. You mentioned that she didn't text you for at least a whole day, whereas she usually texts you regularly. I think she realised that she screwed up big time, and her not texting you was a way for her to avoid you and avoid any uncomfortable discussions. Exactly. I see exploring, mostly bi, being used as an excuse for cheating way too often. Imagine a guy saying, "Yeah, I wanted to explore how it is with blondes since I never had that." Cheating is cheating. Gender is irrelevant. She can't dismiss it because she cheated with a girl or with a friend. To me, that's a break-up offence.